Alright, so we're gonna give this a try. See if our filming equipment is gonna cooperate and our, if you can hear me and whatnot. I'm just gonna do a quick unboxing of the supplies I got that I'm gonna be potentially using, and just kind of give you an idea of what you might want to get, or kind of give you ideas if you already have it. So I'm deciding between these two sketchbooks. They're watercolor paper. You can use any mixed media that you want. There's also one called mixed media that you can also do watercolor on. So basically this is just a book filled with watercolor paper, and we can leave it in there and leave it as a book, or we can take it out. So if you'd rather do it piece by piece after some practice and then do a sketchbook, that's fine. If you already have a book form sketchbook for watercolor that you want to use, that's great too. So same thing, this is just a different size. So I'm deciding between those. You're gonna want a spray bottle of any size. So this is gonna help with a couple of artistic pieces and also to activate our paints. I would recommend playing with your nozzle on your spray bottle and make sure that you know how it functions and turns off. A lot of the time you're just going to want a mist to activate the paints. You're not going to want it to be super saturated. So you might play with that in the sink when you fill it up and just make sure. You're going to want some sort of tape to tape off your edges on your paper. So like we would tape here and here. So that way when we're done, we can have a nice little border, if that's something you want to do. Sometimes we might tape off a design and paint over that, and then when we peel it off. What I don't have out right now is a hair dryer. You don't have to get like a brand new hair dryer to add to this collection or anything. The reason you might want a hair dryer is sometimes if you warm the tape when it's on the paper, it'll help release a little better and not rip the paper. And it'll also come in handy if we're trying to do an activity where we layer the paint. You can use any masking tape, painter's tape. There's other kinds of art tape that other artists use that you can find at the craft stores. I just already had this in my craft collection, so this is what I'm going with. And I like contrast, so I like to be able to see it. All right, let's talk about paint. There's so many options, and once I get to the craft store, I'm going to make a video of kind of going through the store and picking out. I went with this one. This is a cake watercolor tin. It was just in one of these little plastic box things hanging on a shelf. So I went ahead so we didn't waste time on opening that. This is actually a tin. These come out if you want them to. It's a little tin. This comes with a brush. We'll talk more about brushes in a minute. If you just want to use this one brush, that's fine. If not, we'll talk more about that. You may consider the size of the paper you do. So you might decide, if you have a huge notebook like this is going to take more time. This is a little better for precise type items. These come out like this. In this particular case, we don't have to unwrap these. In some collections, you have to actually unwrap them. They're kind of just, it has some sort of adhesive keeping them in there. So they're already ready to go. This is a really pretty collection. I felt like it kind of had most of the colors. The only one I really don't see is like a neon pink, but when we do our swatches, we'll find out some more. We've got a couple metallics right here. So that is going to be fun to learn. So these would just stay in here, and once you're done using these, you would be able to toss this and replace it if that's what you wanted to do. Okay. I kept this part because on the back it has the colors and the names and a little bit of the swatches, which we're going to do our own creative swatches as we learn to use our brushes and our paints. I've always enjoyed keeping these as an artist and just having them around. You can pin them to your wall or in your workspace, however you want to do it. Some artists will mix colors here in their tin. I don't particularly want to do that myself in this moment. I feel like it's already going to get messy enough with these. So I like paper plates. I don't know how well paper plates are going to work for watercolors. I know they work great for acrylics. So you might, I just had these on hand from other activities. You might want to look into either getting, these are called palettes. Paint palettes. They're in the art section. They'll probably be pretty close to where you find your paint. This is actually left over from selling Mary Kay. I loved these. And then it's plastic, so you can recycle it, throw it away, whichever you prefer. Or wash it and keep it again a couple times. And then just basic, you can pick any size, any shape. It doesn't matter. And then just wash them off. As you can tell, the struggle bus is getting them perfectly clean. And if you're someone with OCD or you don't get to cleaning them right away, it might bug you. So that's one reason I like using paper plates or tin foil or things like that. It's going to be a learning curve for watercolors. We will see how it goes. I think that's why a lot of artists use their tins. So they recommend letting these completely dry after use before closing them up. Okay. So these right now are dry. So I'm just going to set these aside. Okay, let's talk brushes. All right, so just in the name of learning, I just grabbed 2 sets. They were, I'm not sure how much they cost. These were $8 and these were probably about the same. Quality-wise, I've had a set of these ones before. From my own practices in acrylic, these quality-wise were probably middle of the road. They weren't super low quality, but they're not high quality. So for learning purposes, they're great. And then you can just see how they go. I got 2 just to kind of play with and see which ones I liked better or to have. I think they also had different shapes and sizes. So a lot of people will just pick one of these, what they call round brushes in different sizes. A lot of watercolor artists will use one round brush. So it's really just preference. I would just recommend making sure it says watercolor. What I liked about this set is I can also use them for other things like acrylics and oils. I went ahead and took them out so that way I didn't have to struggle on camera to take them out. Basically, it has this set has pouches that you can utilize after you've unboxed them. And then on the back, there is descriptions of the shape, and this one even gives brushstroke ideas for you. So if you were to maintain this just right, you could probably reuse that again also. Might have to cut it down a little bit so it fits in and out of the pouch better. This one also comes with a pouch. I think is another reason I really liked this set, and then more information about the brushes, and I believe there's cleaning information and things like that on here. One thing I didn't list in the like have to haves, you might want a cup of some sort. As you can tell, I've used this for other painting projects. So this, you know, you can just grab whatever kind of container lying around. You don't have to go out and buy a brand new one. I mean, in any of this, if you already have it, fantastic. No need to waste money. You might want some scissors. I figured most people had some sort of scissors laying around. A few things I just want to mention real quick that are optionals. We're going to do a couple activities with circles. So I happened to have come across these at the craft store when I originally planned on doing a watercolor, and they're all different sizes of circles. I just felt I would be less stressed out if I had some sort of stencils. A lot of people will just do like, you know, tracing of their tape or the inside of their scissors, or tracing any sizes of lids, and that's perfectly fine too if you want to do it that way. Sometimes I struggle with that and it stresses me out, so I saw these and fell in love. These are totally optional. I just thought I'd share. This one has circles and rectangles, and then this one does too. So might be something you want to consider. You don't have to have it. It's not going to make or break learning. I'm just a crafty person and enjoy that kind of thing. Let's talk about some of this. Okay, so these I just had in my craft box from school and art classes and whatnot. You might want straight edges, curvy edges for protractors. Rulers, probably wouldn't hurt to have a ruler handy. You can borrow one from your kids, or I'm sure most people have one. And these are just random bits I had in my box. These ones have shapes. These might come in handy during an activity. Any kind of stencil type things that you enjoy. Rulers. This I also purchased when I bought those stencils. So some right angles. I don't know if you can see those on camera very well. I may have to use a highlighter on these so you can see them. So things like that you might want handy. Just thought I'd mention it here. That way you're not mad at me if I bring them out in a class or video. Okay. And then just for, because I'm a dork, I always like to give shout outs to art supplies that I love, or that might come in handy for you later if we decide to do a mixed media type project where we, you know, make different things. Or tracing paper is always in my, what I call arsenal. It's basically a transparent type paper where you can draw on one side. These are also great because you can put graphite or pencil lead on one side and help you transfer an image from one to the other after you've traced it. And of course, as you can already tell, I'm in love with stencils. So we got a little bit of everything here. Some letters, some bigger pieces. So these aren't a have to. I just thought, you know, I'd mention if you have stencils or see any kind of stencil that you want to do for a project, might not be a bad idea. No pressure. So that was just kind of unboxing and getting things out to show you what I was going to kind of use for this first piece. That one set is called a geometry set. It's a combo. This was hanging on a shelf, so you may have to look really carefully. And then the circles were called templates, actually. I think I got those in more of like the model car section, and wasn't quite in like a section you would assume for drawing. So when you're at the craft store, look down every aisle. You never know what fun things you're gonna find. So yeah, that was just a quick unboxing and to see how this area is going to work in teaching, and just to say hello. Super excited to get started and looking forward to hanging out with all of y'all. We'll see you soon.